actor Ramya, who finds herself at the receiving end of a sedition controversy, accused of being seditious for praising the people of Pakistan for their hospitality, and now there are protests against her. It's just one more in a series of controversies around so-called sedition. Let's go straight across to Ramya. Ramya, before we come to the actual ridiculous charge of sedition, let me first ask you to talk a little bit about your experience to Pakistan. When did you go? What did you do there? And tell us a little bit about your trip. Was it your first trip?
Well, I was invited as a panelist to speak at the first SARC Youth Parliamentarians Conference, which was in Islamabad, and it was my first trip to Islamabad, and that's why I was there.
And how was your experience? Talk a little bit about your experience there.
Barka, if I can elaborate a little bit, I don't know how much time we have, but
no, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, right. So when I landed in Islamabad, my bags didn't come, so I didn't have anything on me except a Madhubani painting that I had carried with me for the speaker as a gift. And one of the parliamentarians took me around to pick up the stuff that I needed. And when I went to a shop, and when the owner of the shop knew that I was from India, there was this bakery next door, and she got all the pastries and all the juices that were there, and then she offered them to me, and then she's like, oh, bahut acha hua aapse milne, and whatever. I'm sorry, my Hindi is quite bad. And people were extremely hospitable, and I think people are just like us. We face the same issues. And all the Indian delegates, I mean, there was a parliamentary BJP MP, there was Kalikesh, and there was Alok Tiwari ji also from SP, and we were all treated very, very well. Yeah.
So when you came back and you disagreed with Manohar Parrikar, when you said he may think Pakistan is hell, but I don't think Pakistan is hell, despite the controversy, you stand by that statement.
I absolutely stand by it, even more so today.
All right, tell me a little bit then of how you see this charge of sedition against you. The entire controversy seems ridiculous, but how do you see it?
It is ridiculous, but it's not surprising, Barka, because you see, you hear of sedition every other day on random things that people have said which are not seditious, and this is a situation, and I think that we can't really blame these people because laws are meant to be misused apparently in this country, and they are misusing the sedition law as well. So I think it's time to repeal it, because in a democratic country I don't think there should be anything such as sedition.
But Ramya, this is also a political issue. The protests by you have also been by the student wing of the BJP, the ABVP. There's even been a BJP MLC, which includes actor Jagesh, who's an MLC, who's attacked you in very coarse language. Do you see this entire row as political? Do you see it as Ramya versus the ABVP, Ramya versus the BJP, Congress versus BJP?
I don't know what their agenda is, but I definitely feel like this is curbing of the freedom of speech, and I think everybody is entitled to their views, irrespective of whether you're in the Congress or any political party. And I don't think anybody should be told what not to say and what to say. Yeah, I think freedom of speech is everybody's right. I would see it like that.
But the kind of coarseness of language when you have a Jagesh who took part in the ABVP protests, and he actually used this coarse language where he spoke about bed bugs and mosquitoes and compared you to those and said you should go back to Pakistan. I mean, how do you deal or engage with this kind of language?
Amusing. I find them very amusing, and I find it really ridiculous and absurd and bizarre. But that's just who they are. I mean, just take it as it comes, and I definitely don't get affected by it. I do laugh at it sometimes, but otherwise, no, I don't really care about their comments or what they have to say. Well, they're entitled to their views.
Right. So, you seem to keep your sense of humor about this. But let me ask you, whether it's amnesty or it's this particular case, both are actually happening in a state which is governed by the Congress. Now, the BJP could turn around and say that this is in fact a state that is ruled by the Congress. So why blame the BJP? This is happening on the Congress watch.
Look, Barka, I think the government is just following the legal procedure, and if someone files a complaint, you can't just say, you know, what. Well, I think, in this situation, I think, or the amnesty situation, I think the police themselves are not aware of what the law is, and therefore they don't know if they should accept the complaint or not. But I think they have accepted the complaint because of lack of, maybe they're misinformed or something like that. But then let the court decide, no, if it is seditious or not seditious, whatever it is. I don't think anybody should bypass the law, and if so, the problem here is the law itself. So I'm saying repeal the law, because you can't blame anyone for filing a complaint or blame someone for accepting a complaint, because that is a legal procedure. So I don't think we should blame anybody for that, but I think we should really repeal the law. I think that is the only solution. Today it's me, tomorrow it could be anybody else.
So you are saying in effect that today it is you, tomorrow it could be anyone else, you or me.
Yeah, for I don't know, as random as saying that, you know, Pakistanis are just like us, and well, you know, tomorrow it could be anything.
But, you know, I do want to come back to the mixed signals we've heard from the Congress, Ramya. You've had Congress leaders like Digvijay Singh, for example, who said that your government in Karnataka, your party's government, should not have filed a sedition case against amnesty. But the Home Minister in the state says something else. The Congress continues to speak in different voices. So it isn't just the BJP, it isn't just the ABVP. Today, the Americans have said amnesty must have a right to free expression. That's been the official response from the US government. So while what's happened to you is ridiculous, how do you defend as a Congress member in Karnataka, in a Congress-ruled state, what has happened to amnesty?
Yeah, I mean, they are a community that fights for human rights, and how can you stop them? You know, everybody is entitled to do what they're meant to do, and I don't think we should be stopping someone from doing their job. And I definitely think that the Congress government in Karnataka must intervene, but according to the law, and try to do something about it, and stop people from filing sedition cases, and maybe inform people about what the sedition law is. But I again reiterate that I think we should just be done away with this law.
How do you see the phrase anti-national? It's used a lot these days. It's certainly been used for me a few times. Now it's been used for you. How do you see this phrase?
Like I said, I take it as a compliment, because the ones who are speaking, against hatred, the people who are speaking for peace, people who speak for freedom of speech, they're being called anti-national. So I think these are good things. These are good qualities to have. So if that is anti-national, then I don't mind being anti-national.
But Ramya, I mean, you may say that, and I like to say that too, that, if you're going to define my patriotism for me, then fine, go ahead and call me anti-national. I don't believe I am. I get that. But there's a counter argument. There are people who say to you today that, look, Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism against India, and while it's all very well to speak up for the people of Pakistan and their friendliness, you should not end up being an apologist for Pakistan. So how do you respond to that charge that, by praising Pakistan at this time of tension, you're being an apologist for Pakistan?
I think it's absurd if they think like that. I'm not for terrorism of any sort, whether it is Pakistan or Afghanistan or even in Bangladesh. I think it's for all of us to come together and fight terrorism. And I don't think we should blame anybody, a particular country for, for terrorism, because look at what we're doing in Mangalore. I mean, BJP guys have killed another member of their own party, or look at what's happening in Gujarat, or look at what's happening in the country itself. We're killing one another. And I'm not saying that this is only in Pakistan or only in Afghanistan or any other country. It's here too. It's in my it's in a city that's 100 kilometers from here. So I'm saying, I mean, it's ridiculous to think that it's easy for us to point fingers at someone and say, well, it's happening there, it's not happening here. I think look around you. There's so much happening here itself.
Though, of course, Ramya, it could be said that institutionalized use of terrorism as a state policy is very different from violence of the kind that you have referred to within India, but that is the subject of another debate. Let me ask you in the end how you're dealing with this. You said you've kept your sense of humor alive, but have there been moments of fear, of feeling scared, of panic? Have you considered apologizing at all? Just an apology for buying practical peace?
No, I haven't contemplated. You know, Barkha, I don't have an ego, and I would have said sorry otherwise, because I'm someone who always speaks my mind, and I never intend to hurt anybody's feelings. But in this particular instance, I don't think I should apologize, because I definitely don't want people to stop speaking their mind, or to be scared, or to, you know, succumb to pressure, because that's not what inclusiveness or democracy is about. I think everybody is entitled to their opinions, and I think that's what should be the political discourse of the country, you know, that what everybody wants for their country, and what their intentions are, or what you know, their feelings are, what their thoughts are. And I think the problem today is we're trying to eliminate a section of society, and, you know, force a particular ideology, or force a particular opinion on other people. And I think that's not the right way. I don't think that's good for the country.